When someone's been hurt on the job, especially in high-risk industries like construction or demolition, knowing your rights is critical. But for many immigrant workers in New York, especially those who are undocumented, fear and uncertainty can often keep them silent. So today we're joined by two attorneys, Zach Perecman and Stephen Dorfman from the Perecman Firm, a law firm built on empathy, justice, and advocacy. They're here to talk about how they're standing up for injured workers and what every immigrant should know. Welcome to New York Living.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you, Marisol.
Really important topic, and so I'm so glad that you two are talking about it. Now, I understand the law firm has been around for 40 years. Congratulations on that alone. Can you tell us a little bit about the origin story?
Absolutely. My father, David Perecman, may he rest in peace, founded the firm over 40 years ago. He grew up in a working class home in Queens. His parents were Holocaust survivors and immigrants. He learned firsthand as a result of growing up in that household about resilience and about pride in my grandfather was a tool and die maker, so he was a craftsman himself. So that was carried on into my dad's job as a trial lawyer representing construction workers and those in labor-intensive jobs. He was able to uniquely empathize with these people who worked very, very hard with their hands every day, and unfortunately were not provided with proper safety and were injured. We've carried on that legacy for him. And we make sure that these workers, when they're injured, have a voice, and we get them the justice they deserve when it's necessary.
That is such a fantastic story, so I understand why you're carrying on the family legacy. Stephen, from the beginning, your firm has represented immigrant workers, especially in labor-intensive jobs. What unique challenges do these clients face? How does your firm help those people overcome all of the challenges?
Sure. Well, and now we can tell in the news how vulnerable the immigrant population is at this point in time, particularly now with fear of not only retaliation if they were injured and were going to make a claim. There's a fear of being sort of uncovered by ICE, you know, and that's the primary retaliatory action that all of these workers are now worried about. They're also worried about, frankly, just advocating for themselves, getting appropriate wages and appropriate benefits, whether it be health insurance or workers' compensation insurance.
That's a lot, all in a day's work.
All in a day's work,
All in a
that's
day's
right.
work. Zach, I know you've had some incredible wins for your clients, and I wonder if you can share some of those examples and just how life-changing the work you're doing has been for them.
Absolutely. Most recently, we settled a case for almost $30 million for a family that tragically lost their husband, father, in a construction accident. He unfortunately fell from a building, and it was a very tragic incident. We can't do anything to take away that pain, but that money can make their life more comfortable. And last year, we represented a man and settled his case for $19 million. He was severely injured when an iron beam fell from a crane. And this settlement, I can say, has transformed him and his family's life. During that lawsuit, he lived in very challenging circumstances, certainly not circumstances that someone who was suffering with the pain he was living in should be living. And from this settlement now, his family has the stability and comfort that they deserve so that they can go on in their life. And while we can't heal their pain, we're not doctors, we can certainly provide them with this comfort and stability. And we take pride in doing that for our clients.
Wow, really incredible. Stephen, I want to go back to you. Undocumented, there's a misconception that if you are undocumented in this country, you cannot file a claim, there are no lawsuits. I wonder if you could clarify that for us.
Absolutely. In New York, they do not make a distinction between documented and undocumented workers as to whether or not they can bring a claim either in the Workers' Compensation Board or in the courts. Unfortunately, many in the immigrant community believe that there is this prohibition, but simply put, there is not.
There is not. Here in the state of New York, there's no delineation between documented or undocumented.
None whatsoever.
Very good information to know. So, Zach, for someone who may be watching this and is afraid to speak up, what would you want them to know about how Perecman Firm can help them?
I would want them to first know they're not alone, that we represent dozens, hundreds of workers, New York workers just like them. Whether they are documented, undocumented, born in this country, not born in this country, it does not matter. As Stephen said, they have the same rights, and we're here to hold their hand through the legal process, sometimes this long and arduous legal process, and get them the compensation they deserve, hold others accountable if necessary, and make them feel comfortable through this very difficult situation.
Really useful information. Thank you both so much for being here today.
Thank you.
You at home, if you would like to contact the Perecman Firm for your free case review, scan that QR code on your screen or call 718 workers. Thanks again, gentlemen.